There's something you've been doing your entire life that's been shaping your reality without you even knowing. It's not your actions. It's not your thoughts. It's not even your beliefs. It's the way you observe. And the truth is, most people are trapped in a loop, not because life is hard, but because they've been looking at it from the same angle for too long. But here's what no one told you. Change your angle, and you change everything. Imagine this. Two people walk into the same room. Same light, same temperature, same objects, same people. But one sees opportunity, the other sees danger. One feels inspired, the other feels small. One feels expansion, the other contraction. Same room, different reality, not because of what's there, but because of the way it's being observed. Now here's where it gets wild. Quantum physics says that's not just metaphor. It's literal. Your perception, your attention, is not passive. It's active. It's creative. It's energetic. And the longer you observe from the same lens, the more the universe reshapes itself to match that exact frequency. This is why your life may feel like a pattern, like you're living in a loop you can't name but deeply feel. Because you've been observing reality from the same state of being, and reality has no choice but to reflect it back. But that loop, it's not permanent. And today, you're going to learn how to break it, not by force, but by shifting the way you observe everything. We were taught that the world is objective, that what you see is what's there. That matter is primary, and consciousness is just a byproduct. But quantum physics shattered that illusion. Let this sink in. In every moment, the world around you is not fixed. It's not final. It's not solid. It's probable. Particles, the building blocks of your reality, exist in a state of possibility. They don't decide what they are until something observes them. That's not science fiction. That's the observer effect. And it means this: reality doesn't exist independently of you. It materializes through you. But there's a twist, and this is the part no one tells you. You're always observing, even when you're not aware of it. Every reaction, every assumption, every emotional echo from the past, they're all forms of observation. And those unconscious observations, they're collapsing versions of reality into your timeline, over and over again. You think you're watching reality, but what if reality is watching you? Not in some paranoid way, but in a way that reveals a deeper truth. Reality is mirroring back the version of yourself you keep observing, emotionally, energetically, subconsciously. Let me ask you, how often do you look at life expecting disappointment? How many times have you looked in the mirror and searched for what's wrong? How frequently do you check your phone, your bank account, your messages, not with trust, but with doubt? That's observation, and it matters, not just spiritually, not just psychologically, but quantum mechanically. Because what you observe, as real, becomes the version of reality that solidifies around you. Here's what keeps most people stuck. They try to think positive, they try to visualize, they even try to manifest, but they keep observing through the lens of lack, of fear, of past programming. So even when they dream big, their observation is still rooted in the old identity, and the field responds accordingly. You can't jump into a new life while watching from the eyes of the old you. What happens when you observe differently? That's what this entire video is about. Because there's a version of reality you haven't seen yet. Not because it doesn't exist, but because you haven't looked at life from the frequency that reveals it. And the moment you do, the world bends. But I'm not just going to tell you this. I'm going to walk you through it. Because in the next chapter, we'll break down exactly how your focus shapes form. You'll understand why observing with intention isn't just a mindset shift, it's a timeline shift. So stay with me. This isn't motivation, this is quantum architecture, and you're about to remember how to build. If this already stirred something inside you, comment below. I choose to observe differently. Let that be your first shift, your first declaration. Because it's not just a comment, it's a command to the field. And the field is always listening. You've been told to focus on what matters. But no one told you what your focus actually does. Because focus is not just attention, it's activation. And the moment you realize what your focus is really doing to the quantum field, you'll never look at your thoughts or your reality the same way again. Focus is frequency. Let's break this down. Your focus isn't just a mental flashlight. It's an energetic frequency tuner. When you focus on something, a thought, a fear, a dream, you're sending a signal. That signal vibrates. And the quantum field, it's not responding to what you want. It's responding to what you're tuned into. Focus is the code. Reality is the screen. And what appears on that screen depends on what you keep feeding your attention to. This is why two people can live completely different experiences in the same world. Because they're not watching the same version of it. They're not tuned to the same frequency. They're not observing from the same internal world. Are you aware about the illusion of neutrality? Here's the trap. You think you're just watching life happen, but most people are not observing. They're unconsciously reinforcing. They're focused on what's missing and calling it being realistic. They're focused on what could go wrong and calling it preparation. They're focused on the past and calling it memory. But in quantum terms, every focus is a command, a frequency, a magnet. You're not just seeing, you're selecting. So ask yourself, what am I selecting on repeat? What thoughts do I zoom into without even realizing? What timeline have I been locking into? Just by the way I observe. Because if you're focusing from fear, you collapse a timeline that keeps matching fear. If you're focusing from lack, you collapse a timeline that keeps giving you more reasons to feel lack. But here's the key. You can change that. Instantly. Right now, you could stop what you're doing and redirect your focus fully into the version of life that feels aligned, empowering, expansive. You could focus on peace. You could focus on joy. You could focus on the frequency of already having what you've been asking for, and the moment you do, your internal state shifts, not because something changed outside, but because you changed what you were observing inside. And that shift, that's the beginning of a new signal, a new timeline, a new experience. The science says it too. Dr. Joe Dispenza studied thousands of brain scans from people who intentionally shifted their focus. And the results? When someone focused on a new future, with intention, clarity, and emotion, their brain began firing as if that future was happening now. The body reacted chemically, the nervous system regulated, the energetic field expanded. Why? Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real event and an observed one. When the focus is strong enough, and neither does the universe. From passive to creative lit, this truth settle into your system. What you focus on, you feed. What you feed, you feel. What you feel, you become. And what you become selects your reality. So the question is not, what do I want? The question is, what am I constantly focusing on? Because your focus is not just reacting to reality, it's reprogramming it. It's like a sacred lens that either magnifies what you don't want or projects what you're ready to live. Most people use their focus like a reflex. They scan for problems. They replay the past. They anticipate pain. But what happens when you start using focus like a sacred instrument? What happens when you train it, direct it, elevate it? You stop recycling old timelines, and you start collapsing new ones. You stop watching life through inherited programs, and you start broadcasting from your authentic frequency. In the next chapter, we're going to reveal the one truth that flips manifestation on its head, because you've been taught that desire is the key. But the quantum doesn't respond to what you desire. It responds to what you observe as already real. Get ready. We're about to expose the real reason why you don't get what you want, and how to change that, instantly. This might sting a little, but it's the truth that sets everything in motion. You don't get what you want. You get what you observe. Let that land. Because right now, you might be doing everything right. Affirmations, meditation, journaling, visualization. But if your observation is still wired to lack, to fear, to I don't have it yet, then that's the version of reality the universe keeps collapsing around you. Not because you're not worthy, not because it's not your time, but because your focus still belongs to the old frequency. Here's the hard truth. Most people desire abundance, but they observe their bank account with anxiety. They want love, but observe their reflection with criticism. They dream of freedom, but observe their reality like a prison. This is the mismatch. This is the loop. And this is what keeps your desired timeline just out of reach. Because you're trying to create a future while energetically observing your past. The field doesn't hear your desire. It feels your signal. Let's ground this in quantum truth. The EC field, that intelligent web of energy that surrounds you, doesn't speak English. It speaks frequency. So when you want something, but you observe from doubt, your frequency says, it's not here. And the field responds, okay, let's keep reflecting that. But when you observe your vision with certainty, with gratitude, with the emotion of, this is already mine, then the field starts bending. It's not about how badly you want it. It's about how real it feels when you observe it. How observation creates alignment. Let me show you the difference. Let's say you're visualizing financial abundance. Old pattern. You see the money in your mind, but then you open your banking app and feel panic. You check your bills. You worry. You react. That's not visualization. That's emotional conflict. The result? You collapse a timeline that matches the fear, not the vision. New pattern. You see the money in your mind, and when you look at your bank account, you observe it differently. You say, this is temporary, it's just a snapshot. I already feel the shift. You hold the emotion of abundance, not because the numbers changed, but because you did. That observation, that's power, that's alignment. That's what shifts timelines. The secret most people miss. Here's the thing. Most people don't even realize what they're observing. Because observation isn't just what you look at. It's what you believe when you look. If you believe, I'm not there yet, things never work out for me, this isn't real until I see proof, then your observation is rooted in waiting. And waiting is a frequency. It creates more waiting. You get stuck in a loop where you keep trying to manifest, but nothing sticks. Not because your desire is wrong, but because your observer is out of sync with the version of you who already has it. Neville Goddard said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Why? Because when you observe from the end, from the version of you that already has it, you collapse that timeline. But when you observe from the gap, from the it's not here yet energy, you keep the desire stuck in potential. Here's your breakthrough. The faster you observe as if it's real, the faster it becomes real. Because reality doesn't move when you chase, it moves when you embody. Experiment. Observe differently for 24 hours. Let's get practical. For the next 24 hours. Every time you think about something you want, Observe it as if it's already yours. Every time you notice fear or doubt rising, observe it like an old friend passing through, not as truth. Every time you look at your life, shift the lens. Ask, what would the version of me who already has it see right now? Try it. You'll feel the energy shift, and so will the field. Now, you're ready for the next step. Not just how to observe differently, but how to use that observation to shift your entire timeline. In the next minutes, I'll show you the mechanics of collapsing a new version of reality through the most powerful practice you've probably never been taught. And once you feel it in your system, you'll never observe the same way again. The truth is that you've been observing on autopilot, from fear, from doubt, from past identity. And your reality? It's just been echoing that back. But now you know the truth. Observation is not just how you see the world. It's how you select the version of it you live in. So the real question becomes, how do you observe differently? In a way that actually shifts your timeline. You can't shift what you're not aware of. So first, pause. Scan your focus. Ask yourself, where does my mind go when I'm not paying attention? What reality am I rehearsing when I'm on autopilot? Do I look at life expecting magic or maintenance? Because the way you habitually observe is the reality you habitually collapse. Start noticing your emotional reflexes. When a bill arrives, what do you feel? When you think of your future, what images appear? When you're alone, what stories run in the background? This awareness is the doorway, because you can't change the frequency until you stop blending with it. Now that you see it, you disrupt it. Not by fighting it, but by choosing something else intentionally. Try this simple practice. You feel an old fear rising? Say out loud, that's not me anymore. You catch yourself imagining the worst-case scenario? Interrupt with, let's play a better movie. You feel your energy dropping into the old version of you? Shift posture, shift breath, shift state. This might seem small, but it's massive, because each time you disrupt the signal, you weaken the neural path and create space for something new, and space is all the field needs to reorganize. Here's where the jump happens. Close your eyes and imagine the version of you who already lives in abundance, the one who is already deeply loved, the one who moves through life with power and purpose. Now ask, how do they walk? How do they speak? What do they no longer worry about? What do they focus on effortlessly? And here's the key. Observe life from their perspective, not yours now. Theirs. It's not pretending. It's permission. Because that version of you already exists in the quantum field. And the moment you observe from their state, you start collapsing their timeline. Not someday. Now. Try this. Every morning before the world gets noisy, sit in stillness. Let your identity fade. No name, no story, no past. Visualize the version of you who is already living the life you desire. Feel their energy. Now. Observe the world from their eyes. Imagine opening your phone, walking through your home, talking to someone. But from the new frequency, hold that for 3 minutes. That observation, it's not just mental, it's vibrational. It shifts your signal. It realigns your field. It tells the universe, this is the me I'm choosing now. Remember this, you don't need to fight your current reality. You just need to observe another one, long enough for it to take form, because your life isn't stuck. It's just locked onto a signal you forgot you could change. But now, you're remembering. And the next time fear rises, or doubt whispers, or the old story pulls you back, you'll smile, and say, that's the old timeline trying to stay alive. But I'm done observing that. You've been living a story, one that was written long before you knew you had a pen in your hand, and most of that script, you didn't write it. It was installed by family, by culture, by trauma, by repetition. And without even realizing it, you've been observing life through the eyes of that old character, repeating scenes you never chose, reacting to narratives you never agreed to, reliving patterns that feel familiar but false. But now, you're waking up in the middle of the movie, and you're remembering something powerful. You're not just the actor, you're the writer. And the script is yours to rewrite. Your identity is the lens that observes. Let's bring this deeper. Your identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are, is the filter through which you observe reality. And what did we already learn? What you observe becomes real. So if your identity says, I'm not ready, I always mess things up, I don't deserve more, this is just who I am, then that becomes the lens that collapses your reality. Not because it's true, but because it's familiar. And the field doesn't give you truth. It gives you confirmation of your dominant observation. You've been repeating, not creating. Here's what most people don't realize. They wake up every day and rehearse the past, energetically. They feel the same emotions, tell themselves the same story, expect the same kind of day, and then they wonder why nothing changes. It's not because they don't want more. It's because they're still being the version of themselves who created this version of life. And the quantum field? It's just responding. Faithfully, neutrally, precisely. Same identity, same lens, same script, same movie. The moment you decide to rewrite, here's the shift. You don't have to fix your entire life. You don't need to control every detail. You only need to change the observer. Because the moment your internal storyteller changes, your outer reality has to adapt. Let me ask you, who is the version of you that doesn't carry that wound anymore? Who is the version of you that doesn't apologize for shining? Who is the version of you that no longer expects struggle? That version isn't far away. They're not in the future. They're here, in the field, waiting for your focus. And the moment you observe from their eyes, you start to become them. The script break, practice, let's make this real. Next time you feel yourself reacting like the old you, stop, close your eyes, and ask, who is observing this reaction right now? And what story is it reinforcing? Then ask, what would the next version of me observe instead? This tiny moment of awareness? That's how you reclaim the pen. That's how you stop playing the same role and start rewriting the character, because your identity is not fixed. It's fluid, it's fractal, and it follows the direction of your focused attention. The truth that changes everything, here it is. You were never broken. You were just observing yourself through a distorted lens, and when you shift that lens, everything rearranges. Your thoughts soften. Your energy expands. Your nervous system breathes. Your path clears. Because the script you've been living isn't carved in stone. It's written in light, in vibration, in choice, and every new observation from a higher version of you writes a new line. Now that you've reclaimed the pen, it's time to rewrite your frequency. Because even with a new story, if your body still holds the signature of the old one, you'll keep attracting echoes from the past. So how do you tune your energy to a new reality? So deeply that it becomes effortless? You're about to discover what happens when your focus becomes alignment, when your vibration becomes declaration, when your energy becomes your anchor. You've learned how powerful your focus really is, not as a thought, but as a force. Because what you observe, you activate, And what you activate, you become. This is not poetic. It's not philosophy. It's the physics of consciousness. And now you understand. Your focus is not just choosing your reality. It's choosing your identity. You're not watching life. You're becoming what you watch. Every day, you're surrounded by infinite versions of reality. One where you're empowered. One where you're limited. One where you're in overflow. One where you're in survival. And your focus? It's the selector, the tuner, the key. The more you focus on peace, the more peaceful you become. The more you focus on expansion, the more your energy stretches. The more you focus on what's missing, the more you become the version of you who feels incomplete. This is not punishment. This is mechanics, because your observation is shaping your state, and your state is shaping your reality. The brain doesn't lead, the focus does. Dr. Bruce Lipton showed that your biology doesn't determine your life. Your perception does. Every time you observe from fear, your body shifts into stress. Every time you observe from love, your cells shift into coherence. And here's what's wild. Your brain will literally rewire itself to match what you keep observing. Neuroplasticity, quantum feedback, vibrational mirroring, call it what you want. But the outcome is the same. You are becoming the version of yourself that your focus keeps feeding. So the real question is not, what do you want? It's, who are you willing to become through observation? Anchoring the new you. Now that you've reclaimed your power to observe consciously, it's time to make that shift real. Here's a simple but powerful practice. To anchor your new timeline, the focus loop method, daily. Morning declaration. Before you look at your phone, your to-do list, your news feed, ask, what reality am I choosing to observe today? Midday reset. Set a reminder in your phone. When it pops up, close your eyes and say, I return to the version of me I'm becoming. Evening embodiment. Before sleep, replay the moments where you observed with intention. Feel gratitude for the shift. Let that energy sink into your body. The more you do this, the more that version of you becomes the default. Not through effort, but through repetition. This is the shift. You don't have to try harder. You don't have to force the universe to respond. You only have to observe from the identity that aligns with your highest timeline. Consistently, clearly, powerfully. Because when your observation becomes a declaration, the field responds. When your focus becomes stable, your new reality becomes inevitable. So now, you've remembered. You are not a victim of what you see. You are not stuck in a script you didn't write. You are not here to react endlessly to the world around you. You are the observer. You are the selector. You are the creator. What you observe becomes your frequency, and your frequency becomes your world. So pause, look around, feel into this moment, and ask yourself, what am I ready to observe into being? What am I ready to become starting now? Because this isn't the end of a video. This is the beginning of your next reality.